Welcome back. We've got a fantastic show for you today and for tomorrow. It is Julie and I's big reveal, 2025 housing market predictions. And if you're not feeling opportunistic and
optimistic,
you are going to by the end of this show, certainly by the end of tomorrow's podcast, because we're here to tell you that there is no reason whatsoever not to be incredibly excited about being in real estate, especially now. So we're going to roll right in today. And Julie, I really appreciate you helping me with these notes. Julie and I, by the way, have been working on all these notes and working on all these predictions for the better part of probably 3 or 4 months. We've been working on this document together. If you want these notes, which many of you will, because what a lot of folks do is they wait for Julie and I to come out with our predictions, and what they do then is copy them. Sometimes they do the right thing and reference where they got the prediction from, and other times they claim it was their idea.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Either way, our notes are available for our Harris Real Estate Daily subscribers. Harris Real Estate Daily is our daily newsletter, which costs you nothing. You can subscribe right away just by simply going to harrisrealestatedaily.com, harrisrealestatedaily.com, then drop in your email address. And remember, after you drop in your email address, there's one other quick step you have to take, and that is going to your actual email and confirming that you want the subscription. So Harris Real Estate Daily is where all of our notes live, past podcasts, and obviously a lot of exclusive content for our newsletter subscribers. It costs you nothing, so do not procrastinate. Do that urgently. So Julie, let's roll right in.
All right, so the 2025 housing market is shaping up to be an exciting year of growth and opportunity for you, our listeners, real estate professionals, as well as for buyers and sellers. With steady home sales, appreciating home values, and stable commission rates, the real estate industry is poised for another productive year. So here's what you need to know to make your 2025 your best year yet. And again, Tim told you how to get the notes, so you can kind of just focus on what we're saying and download the notes yourself.
Now adjust these predictions accordingly to your market, right? So you're going to have some intimate market knowledge that Julie and I aren't necessarily going to have. So you might have some things that are going to make these predictions even, I think, more valid, or in some cases you might have something that's going to happen in your local market where the prediction's not going to be, not applied to you. So just, make your own predictions and adjust accordingly depending on what your own market trends are. Because, guys, there is no such thing as a national housing market. What Julie and I are predicting is the national housing trends, but we're not predicting what's happening in your market. So like I said, adjust accordingly.
That's right. Know your own numbers. All right, number one, total commissions. Isn't that the first thing you're thinking of? A $1 billion opportunity. The real estate industry continues to provide lucrative income opportunities, and 2025 is no exception. So let's take a look at the numbers. In 2023, approximately 4.07 million homes, barely over 4 million homes were sold, with an average commission rate of 5.32%, resulting in total commissions of $87.5 billion with a B dollars. That was 2023. In 2024, a slight increase in home sales pushed total commissions to about $88.8 billion. And 2025, the projection is this: with home sales expected to rise by 1.5% to home sales expected. We're not talking commissions. Home sales expected to rise by 1.5% to 4.13 million units sold. Total commissions earned by agents could reach a remarkable $90.1 billion. Now, question is, how much of it will be yours?
But this is important, you guys understand. This is just resale. This is not new construction.
Correct.
So these numbers, I did this research for Julie, and new construction adds a lot of billions to the potential real estate commissions that are out there. So just in terms of being in the right place at the right time, you're in the right place at the right time in the right industry. And incredible opportunity. Definitely going to see an increase in commissions. Definitely going to see an increase in agents getting into the business. Absolutely no reason to believe that either agent count or commissions are going to fall, but we're going to get into more into that in future predictions. And Julie, let's just roll right into number two.
Number two, home appreciation and rising prices. Steady home price appreciation continues to make real estate a powerful wealth building tool for homeowners and investors alike. In 2024, the median home price rose to $402,647, reflecting a 2% increase from the previous year. Again, that's nationwide. Adjust for your own home market. Be looking at the reports and the numbers that come out from your boards of realtors, et cetera. Now, the 2025 projection is another 2% appreciation is expected, bringing the median home price to approximately $410,700. Now, for sellers, this trend ensures healthy returns on their investments. For buyers, it underscores the importance of acting quickly to secure properties before the prices go even higher. And agents can use these insights to guide your clients with confidence, emphasizing the long-term value of homeownership. Now, let me hover there for a second because I have been reading a lot about this too. Again, it really depends on your marketplace. I was just listening to an update from Altos Research where they were talking about the increase in inventory. And when you have more inventory, you have fewer competitive bids, which means we don't go as high over list price. And that can serve to stabilize prices rather than making them crazy. Most of where that is happening is the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt is considered anywhere from Phoenix through Vegas, through Dallas and some of the Texas markets, and certainly the Florida markets. That's where most of that stabilization is occurring and many of the price reductions are occurring. Now, if you're in the Northeast, in the Midwest, and the upper Midwest, that's not exactly the same for you. You may be seeing 5 or 6% appreciation next year versus the 1 to 2% in the South that it looks to be shaping up to.
So I'll add to this too. One of the big focuses of the Trump administration is going to be deregulation of housing. And you're seeing that conversation happen even in the most, I think, tightest housing markets like San Francisco, where you're, have all these, I think, really obsolete 2 and 4 families, which should really be replaced with, maybe a 5-story where there's going to be maybe, 25 units, things like that. You're going to see a lot of deregulation, a lot of these ridiculous rules that have been making the really new construction in some of the more, I'd say, densely built urban areas. They're going to be going by the wayside. So we're going to see nationwide an enormous housing boom. At least it'll certainly be this will be the formulative year for it. You're going to see federal land being available. You're going to see all kinds of things happening with new types of construction. It's like, guys, you can do 3D printing of homes. You can do metal frame homes. You can do, obviously, wood frame homes. You can do concrete poured homes, all these things. But
and the deregulation of some things like what flippers are doing, the permits that they have to get and all
Right.
of that to update the existing inventory.
We also think there's going to be, to Julie's point, there's going to be a surge. We think when Trump comes out with this housing plan, basically, not only in Fannie and Freddie will be coming out of conservatorship, which will create more competition in the mortgage industry, but we suspect we're going to see there's going to be some specific set-asides and some carve-outs to encourage flippers. We actually think that there's going to be more people that are going to be getting into the home flipping business because there's going to be some massive tax incentives to help people basically to, justify trying to make a profit. Because some flippers make basically no money for a tremendous amount of work. But, enter tax incentives and you're going to see a lot more inventory from homes that have been fixed up and put back for sale. So, but here's the thing, it's interesting. And I want you guys to consider this since point number 2 was home appreciation, rising prices. We've gotten used to, certainly for Julie and I's professional careers of over 30 years, we've gotten used to there being some level of consistent home value increases. At the very least, home values keep up with inflation. And we think that'll still happen. But even in our stalwart market of Columbus, Ohio, in the last year, where home appreciation during the last previous 3 years, homes have appreciated and increased in value by something like 50%. Well, last year, homes have appreciated in Columbus, Ohio by maybe 3%. And we think that's going to be the long-term trend, plus or minus, because the deregulation is going to increase the inventory, which is going to increase the new construction, which is going to decrease the amount of home value appreciation or inflation in real estate prices. Now, if you're an investor, if you're a homeowner, if you're like Julie and I, well, I don't really like the way it sounds, but you know what? Overall, for the housing industry, for Americans, the very fact that most Americans aren't buying their first house until they're 38, that breaks my heart. I mean, it really does. Because they're missing out on tremendous opportunities to obviously be homeowners and all the benefits that come with that. And if you want evidence of how this actually will play out, look no further than Austin, Texas. So Austin, Texas, which is a crazy housing market, an enormous amount of demand. You guys all know the whole Austin story, right? And yet, prices in Austin have leveled off. Price appreciation in Austin isn't as what it was before they started changing the regulation. So now you're seeing Austin home value appreciation or inflation massively on the decline because of the fact that there's so much new construction available. Julie and I have some apartments that we're limited partners on in Austin, Texas, and I can tell you for sure that by the time these things got built, the whole, essentially the value proposition of these units had completely changed because there were so many other units that were getting built or had also completed because of the deregulation in Austin to provide more housing units. So all of these things matter. You're going to see more mortgage products, which is going to increase more ability, increase ability for more people to buy when Fannie and Freddie come out of conservatorship. You're going to see a lot less regulation with regards to housing and where builders can build and all this other Mickey Mouse. You're going to see a lot of federal land that's just going to start being available to builders to develop. That's going to, over time, going to really change the complete dynamics of housing. But here's the one thing that you need to focus on, is that there are going to be more people buying more houses, more commissions are going to be earned. And not just by a tiny amount, but by a surge. So we're expecting, but not necessarily this year, or 2025 or even 2026, but by 2027 and 2028, you're going to start seeing the positive effects on home sales in a dramatic way, because there's such a backlog of people that want to buy homes. There just isn't enough inventory. That's all going to be changing over the next 24 to 36 months. And as I've been saying, and Julie and I love to remind all of you of this, you are in the right place at the right time. So make sure you're mentally, emotionally in a place to receive the opportunity that still lies in front of you.
Very well said, Tim. And here's the thing. Most of what we've talked about so far has been better, let's say, on the buyer side of things, right? Not as crazy appreciation. We have more inventory to choose from. We've got more competition coming from the mortgage market. But remember that most sellers are also buyers. So how many sellers have been on the sidelines also waiting for inventory? So even though it sounds mostly good news on the buyer side, that also trickles upward towards good for sellers who want to buy.
Here's the bottom line: more inventory, lower interest rates, more real estate transactions, more commissions to be earned. And this wasn't a point, but I will point this out. The average commission in the United States, after all this, I would say new guidelines pertaining to buyer agent commissions, for the most part, the average commission has stayed exactly the same, as Julie and I predicted it would. And furthermore, as we predicted this as well, there is no big precipitous drop off of real estate agents.
Nope.
Go back on YouTube and go back and listen to past podcasts. And all of these, experts, air quoting, were predicting that the number of agents in the industry would drop by half and commissions would be dropped by half. They're all absolutely wrong, because they're not in the real estate industry. They don't understand this industry like, all of us, including you, dear listener, do. So again, the best days of real estate, especially in the United States, residential real estate, are still ahead of us. There's absolutely no reason. If all of a sudden, what would make us wrong? If there was a massive change in demographics, that'd be it. That'd be the only thing.
Unlikely.
That'd be, but that's the whole that's the whole ball of wax. If all of a sudden people stopped wanting to buy homes, if all of a sudden people stopped, making babies, necessitating they buy more homes, then then the predictions would be wrong. But none of those things are going to happen. All right, point number 3, Julie.
Because the people have already been born.
Exactly.
Demographically. Okay. Number 3, total home sales. The 2025 housing market is again expected to see 4.13 million homes sold.
Resale homes, remember, not new construction.
That's right. A modest but encouraging increase from 2024. So we talked about that enough. Number 4, new construction. I think this is really exciting.
Let me do this one. So number 4, new construction sales boom. We've been talking about the increase, so here's what the actual prediction is. New construction is expected to play a significant role in 2025 market, with 700,000 at least newly constructed homes sold, a 12% increase over 2024. Obviously, builders are going to do their best to meet demand, but here's what the big change is going to be. In many of the markets, the homes that have been getting built were the more expensive homes, because those are the only homes that the builders could really make any meaningful profit from. I mean, they're in business to make a profit, right? So they're not going to build the lesser expensive homes. And for the most part, the lesser expensive buyers weren't really in the market because of the interest rates. But you're going to see a change. You're going to see, as more availability of land, as deregulation. I heard, Julie, a statistic. I wish I could remember this, but the average builder, or the average new home, there's something like $60,000 that's absorbed by the buyer that basically comes from regulation.
Yes, and I think I read the same thing. I think in California it's between 90 and 100 grand per house.
Per house, just because of all the bullshit that the builders have to deal with because of all of the regulation. Now, if you want to know why prices have increased, it's because government's overly involved in real estate. Isn't that obvious? If you want to know why, one of the reasons why interest rates have increased is because Fannie and Freddie basically have been controlled by the government and they don't have any competition. All of that is going to change. There's no reason not to be incredibly optimistic about your future in real estate.
That's right. So, regarding this point about new construction, what is your new construction plan? How familiar are you personally with the new construction neighborhoods in your market? which builders have in-house financing with advantageous interest rates, which builders have standing unsold inventory that's not even in your MLS. We've done podcasts getting you started with new construction and your thoughts about turning that into a spoke of business. But we certainly cover this in Premier Coaching very consistently. It's a hot topic all the time. Who's building what where? Who has the best programs? They have special incentives for agents from time to time. Depends on the builder. They have incentives for your buyer. There's a lot of deals going right now. If they're in contract, and especially if they can close before the first of the year, the buyer's going to get a deck, a pool, a landscape package. There's going to be a 0.5% bonus on commissions. There's lots of things to know about.
So we're only through point number 4, and here's what I want you to be thinking about. You are now probably feeling a little bit like you're trying to drink from a fire hose to really kind of take in all this information, and I get it. That's the reason that you need to join Premier Coaching. You know you want to join Premier Coaching. Some of you were in Premier Coaching just for like a month or 2 months, right? That's unfortunately, I was in Premier Coaching. So here's what we've done with Premier Coaching. We are about to relaunch Premier Coaching, and included with Premier Coaching is going to be Ethical Real Estate Professional. Included with Premier Coaching is going to be our complete home buyer system and our complete home seller system. Included with Premier Coaching is going to be the system that we created to work with builders. All of the things that we talk about that we kind of just glaze over on the podcast because this is only a half hour a day. The deep dive, drilled down system that have proven to work in all markets and all price ranges, that is what Premier Coaching is. We are, I'd say, days away from relaunching Premier Coaching, and it's going to include all of these things. So for those of you who are originally interested in Ethical Real Estate Professional, Julie and I took a step back and we said, you know what? We don't want to create something that's going to confuse you guys. We want to make Premier Coaching the place you go for all your real estate coaching and training needs. And we decided to include Ethical Real Estate Professional with Premier Coaching. That is, some of you'll understand the significance of that. And we're very excited to do that. It was a huge decision. We're having to completely reorganize our entire, some of you are trying to log in, existing clients, and you're trying to log in, you're hitting bad links. It's because we're migrating to a completely new platform. We're hard resetting our entire business because Julie and I 100% believe, and all of our coaches and all our staff 100% believe that the best years of real estate haven't even started yet. And we're going to be there. We're in a perfect alignment with all of you guys to make it so that you're perfectly positioned in the marketplace. We absolutely positively want you to take urgent action now and join Premier Coaching. When you join Premier Coaching, you're going to be grandfathered into the new system as well. So just go to premiercoaching.com. Premiercoaching.com is going to be your gateway to the future so you can fast track your success with regards to all the market changes that are happening. We've been ahead of the curve for years, but you want to know what Julie and I's crystal ball is? It shouldn't surprise any of you. Our coaching clients, specifically Julie's coaching clients, they tell us what they're experiencing. Julie usually has 15 to 20 personal coaching clients, and she intentionally hand selects coaching clients from different markets across the country, which we know are bellwethers, and these are agents that have been in the business for a long time. We know and love and trust, frankly, and they are going to tell us exactly what's happening in their markets, and the information we get from those coaching clients leads the way, so usually by 6 to 12 months from anything you're going to hear about on Inman or the Housing Wire or anything else. That's how Julie and I have an unfair advantage in the marketplace, because we were in real estate, obviously selling homes at a high level, and now we're at the highest levels teaching some of the best agents in the world how to be successful selling real estate. That is your path forward as well. Go to premiercoaching.com. Premiercoaching.com is, frankly, going to be an amazing opportunity for all of you. You can join premiercoaching.com right now for free, and that does include a daily seminar private coaching call with a Harris certified coach. The link is down below in the show description, or you can just text the word Premier to 47372. So as we're going through these points and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling awash with opportunity and you're looking for direction, all the answers are waiting for you in Premier Coaching. All right, Julie, we already talked about point number 5, but I do want to preface this one slightly, that I've been reading, I don't know if you've been reading. The point number 5 is mortgage interest rates, slight relief for buyers. I've been reading that there is a lot of folks that are believing that interest rates are going to be in the high 5s by the end of first quarter.
Yes.
And anything below 6 has proven to be essentially fire. I'm not fire in a bad way, but fire in a good way.
Exactly, in terms of fueling the market. Now, for a lot of the predictions, they've been saying around low 6s, mid 6s, but I've heard some recent stuff too that maybe in the high 5s. Here's the thing, everybody is looking for that to happen, certainly, and I think there's a lot of pent-up demand waiting for it to drop below 6. However, it's also true that we can look at mortgage application increases, anything less than 6 3/4 over the past 12 to 18 months, because there have been some blips in that, and you're looking at part 2. Okay, so when it's below 7, we do see an increase almost instantaneously in mortgage applications. So I don't think it has to go below 6 in order for us to get some movement, but certainly headed that direction is good.
You don't want me to push past this point? You want me to end here for the day?
Is
that what
part
you're telling me? Okay, got it. It just wasn't clear in the notes.
I know. That's
All
okay.
right.
That's my fault.
So how are you feeling, dear listener? Our job, our mission when Julie and I start this podcast every day is we want to educate you, we want to motivate you, and we want to get you into actions. The actions that we want you to take are actions that only come from essentially having a sense of direction and a sense of purpose. The sense of purpose comes from your innate desire to be of service to other people. That is where the sense of the true, if you're wanting to, if you are feeling a lack of direction and not really knowing what to do, and you're feeling susceptible to all the ebbs and the flows of the buying of the buyer leads and the marketing and the branding and all these things, if you're sick of feeling sick of it, the only thing you can really find the reprieve of those negative emotions from is your own, frankly, knowing how to, your skills. That's really the bottom line. And your skills come from doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do at the highest level. What we're asking all of you to realize now is if you've been in the business for 15 years, you've seen enough ebbs and flows, and the ebbs and flows can really, take the wind out of a lot of folks for long periods of time. And if you're finding yourself and still licking your wounds from past downward trends in the market, you've got to pull yourself up and you've got to do it urgently. Otherwise, you're going to miss this next big boom in housing. So again, Julie and I have had, we've been in this business forever, basically. And we still have coaching clients that will come to us and say, I discovered Tim and Julie during the housing crash of 07 and 08, right? And I listened to them and they basically helped me turn my business around, and I was ahead of the market when everyone else was basically waiting for the sky to fall. I had my head screwed on straight, and some of those agents have become the top agents in their marketplaces. And then we hear from other agents, and this still happens to this day. It's almost always an email, and they'll say, well, you know what? I have never, ever rebuilt emotionally or financially where I was back in 07 or 08. We get those emails still to this day. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, not that many of them. They never really completely recovered from the trauma of the housing crash. They just didn't. They basically, what they did is they went to ground emotionally, and they never really were there to receive the opportunity that the market was willing to give them. And now they're finally turning around, wanting to turn the corner, wanting to come out of their cave, and they're looking for that sense of direction again. But they've lost 15 years where they could have been building. They lost an entire, a generation of opportunity for themselves. And that's terrifying, honestly. Some of you are right now preparing for this exact same long-term downward slope because you are still licking your wounds from the last 2 or 3 years when real estate has been harder than maybe what you thought it should be, right? You maybe had some great years. The pandemic certainly helped you, as it says, it sounds strange to say that, but now you're on the other side of that. And 2 years, 3 years, you've been feeling like the market's been kicking your butt. You've got to pull yourself out of it and realize that if you stay in that state emotionally and physically, you're going to lose years and decades, and you're not going to be able to receive what this new market has to offer. So please do a real mental and emotional checkup on yourself so you don't lose the greatest opportunity that you might ever experience professionally, which is what 2025 and probably for at least the next 10 years after that's going to be for the real estate industry. So please keep all this in mind, and please do focus on what your highest and truest purpose on this planet is, which is being of service to other people. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.